Ladies and gentlemen, and we back. One day in the far, far future, I'm gonna start one of these videos with not having an excuse of why I'm not uploading. Good news though, that my 18 subscribers might care about. I have fixed my sleep schedule, so hopefully, maybe, that means I will really start locking in and uploading more, I've said that 2 or 3 other times now, but hopefully, third time's a charm, and I mean it this time. Only time will tell if that's true, though, so, we'll see. Anyway, the point of this video is we're getting to that time of the year where names start floating around, trade talks and all this, all that. And I really want to talk about 4 people that the question has been raised if the team is better with or without them. So there's 4 people I want to talk about. That's Trae Young, Paolo Banchero, LaMelo Ball, and Ja Morant. I'm going to start with Ja because here are my notes. I have, yes, this marriage has to end, right? And there's a few reasons. One, the coaching staff doesn't want him there. He, most importantly, does not want to be there, right? I mean, he said in a post-game interview a couple days ago, this might have been, this was a while back, my bad, this was a while back. Anyway, they kept asking him, you don't seem like you have your normal energy out there, right? You don't seem to be, the Ja Morant we've seen, right? And he just kept saying, ask the coaching staff. To every single question, it was the same answer. Ask the coaching staff. Go ask the coaching staff. I don't know what that means. And this was my same gripe that I had with Brian Keefe in my Wizards video the other day, about a week ago, was that players and coaches need to stop going to the media for problems, right? You need to keep stuff like this in-house because it just raises concerns. This is raising a problem with his leadership and his matureness, And we have seen plenty of problems with Ja's matureness. And you can't be acting like this. Also, if you are not playing very well, right? We have seen his numbers only drop over time. And they're dropping again this year. He's averaging 18 points. His field goal percentage is dropping. His three-point percentage is dropping. Everything's dropping. And he's having even more off-court problems. The exchange he had with Clay the other day, where Santiago Dama tried to, basically in Cooper Flag. He grabbed his leg or he grabbed his ankle or whatever. It was one of the two. But he, basically tried to end that man. So, you can't, it really, it brings in your mature level, right? And honestly, I'm not sure that he has any. We've seen the gun problems, clearly the off-court problems, and with his production falling, is this worth all of the is production worth the problems? It's looking like it's not. But is this because he doesn't like Memphis? Or is this because he's just not playing very well? Is this a James Harden in the fat suit situation? I don't know. We'll have to see. And I think the only way to solve that is to trade him. So, where does he go? Well, doing my research, I saw 2 teams pop up more than any other. It was the Kings and the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat one, I don't understand because if you remember, Eric Spoelstra went to Noah LaRoche, the former Memphis Grizzlies assistant coach, to implement his offense that Ja did not like into Miami's offense. And it's working very well in Miami, but that's not going to work for Ja, right? Noah LaRoche's offense is this super high pace, little dribbles as possible, dish it out, somebody's open, shoot it, right? It's super quick. Ja likes to play a little bit slower. He likes his screens. He likes to dribble. He likes to, scan out the defense, take his time, find his spot, get to it, let it fly. So, and it's like I said, he didn't like it last year when LaRoche was the Grizzlies assistant coach. So why are the Heat coming up as a trade destination for him now? Who knows? So the only other team that I saw that makes somewhat sense is the Sacramento Kings. They're not very good either. So what do? Well, from me trying to put something together, it looks like a Zach LaVine trade, right? Because we all saw that interaction with the fan that Zach had where the fans are just tired of him not playing defense. And Ja's not going to play much better defense, but Ja's younger. Ja can be electric, as we've seen. So I think something around, Zach LaVine and probably a few first, maybe one of them's protected, could be worth the flyer in which is Ja Morant for the Kings. I don't know. But yes, this marriage has to absolutely end. The next player is LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. This one has so many moving parts that my little brain can't come up with a answer, right? So honestly, I don't know. I really do not know if this marriage should end. Because there are reports saying that LaMelo wants out. LaMelo has refuted those reports saying that he wants to stay. But Hornets fans have said they're okay if he wants to leave. Trade him. So what's going on? Well, let's dive a little bit deeper into LaMelo Ball as a player, right? So LaMelo has always had the problem that he can't stay healthy. His healthiest season, I should say, was in 2021-22, where he played 75 games. In the 22-23 season, he played 36. In 23-24, he played 22 games. Last season, in 24 and 25, he played 47 games. So he keeps playing less and less games over time. And unlike a name I'm going to talk about later in Trae Young, we really haven't seen LaMelo bring this team very far in the playoffs. When he's on the court, he's exciting and the team's exciting, but they're not very good. So I don't see him as a number one option on a championship team. And maybe the Hornets do, but I don't really see that as a possibility. So, do you trade him? Well, with how good Colin Knippel's been looking lately, and how exciting he's been, how good Miles Bridges has looked, it's extremely hard to make this choice, right? Because we don't know how the Hornets see him. So, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. This is a really tough one in my opinion. I think it's a really difficult decision that the Hornets are going to have to make, right? The next player on my list is Paolo Banchero. Oh, yeah, these two, I don't understand why this conversation exists for why they should be traded. I think it's completely ridiculous. I'm going to get into Trae Young, and that conversation angers me the most out of any of these. But Paolo and the Orlando Magic, he is their second highest scorer. But the stats don't really say Paolo's impact, right? Paolo is a true leader, and he has gained some seriously high praise from the head coach, Jamal Mosley, because he said he's the first guy talking about how we've been defending, how we've been running, and how we've been getting out in transition, and how we've been scoring, and everything, right? And that is what true leadership does. And it's a hard quality to find. So you don't normally find players that are, in the market that have great leadership quality and really good at the game. Paolo has both. And it's not just from the coaching staff, it's from the players themselves. Jalen Suggs said he's a great person, a very smart basketball player, and he has every tangible tool to do anything he wants on the court. Obviously, he's been to every road trip, every game, and every practice. That is a true leader. So, with him being that and being great, I don't see why this exists, right? The complaint at the beginning of the year when he played is that the team couldn't shoot threes. And they couldn't. They were shooting 33%. While he's been gone, though, they've been able to figure it out a little bit, right? They've taken 4 more attempts per game than when he was playing, and they're shooting it at a better percentage. So they have somewhat been able to figure that out. And then you add Paolo back into the mix, this team's going to be good when he gets back, which I think is soon, so that's exciting for Magic fans. But no, they should not trade him. You need good players to win championships. Paolo is a good player. You're not going to get anybody of his caliber and of his leadership skills in the market. So keep him. And he's super young. I don't know what this conversation is. I just don't get it. Now, the one that angers me the absolute most is the Atlanta Hawks. There should be, in no world, where they trade away Trae Young. Absolutely not one world where Trae Young should be traded. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? So the very small sample size we saw of Trae Young this year, he was not very good, right? The team was 3-3. He averaged 17, 2 and 7 on 37% from the field and 19% from the three. It wasn't great. The defense is also undoubtedly better when he's off the court, you know. The Hawks had the 7th best defensive rating without him at 110.9. A few players are absolutely shining, right? Jalen Johnson's averaging 24, 10, and 8. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is averaging 21, 3, and 7. They are both unbelievable, and they're taking such a big jump, right? But when Trae Young was on the court for that first week, Jalen Johnson averaged 23, 10, and 7. Nickeil was averaging 23 and 3 on basically the exact same amount of shots. The only thing is Jalen Johnson has moved into this high-level ball handler and floor general, which is amazing, and he can still have that. But the numbers are almost the exact same when Trae Young was playing. And are we honestly going to forget how good Trae Young is? Like, why would they trade him? I mean, it's like people just forgot how good Trae Young is as a basketball player. I mean, last year, right, Trae Young averaged 24 and 12. I'm rounding up a little bit. It was 11.6, but whatever. He led the league in assists and assist percentage. This year, the Hawks lead the league in assists. Now, yes, the defense might get slightly worse, but how much worse is it going to get? You still have everybody, and you add Kristaps, and you get Trae Young, who's not a good defender. But what's going to change? Is Trae Young really going to affect the defense that much? He's only going to make the offense better. He is just that good. I mean, he's a 4-time All-Star and 1-time All-NBA. The Hawks had, in the year that they made the Western Conference Finals, because this is what my gripe with LaMelo is that we haven't seen LaMelo bring the Hornets anywhere. We have seen Trae Young bring this Hawks team to the Western Conference Finals with an objectively worse team. This team this year is objectively so much better than every other team Trae Young has had around him. It's just a fact. They had the second best offense that year with a better team and Trae Young being as good as he is. What makes anybody think this is a good idea? There should be, like I said, there should be in no world where Trae Young gets traded. I think that once he comes back, because they've had their squabbles with the contracts, once he comes back and once this team is truly meshed, they are going to have a top 5 offense. Because everyone is just, Jalen Johnson is taking this jump because he is just that good. It is not because Trae Young is not playing. Jalen Johnson is just good. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is just good. Trae Young only makes them better. So, when this team is fully healthy and truly ready, they're going to have a top 5 offense. I think also the contract situation is going to get figured out. I don't know what that looks like, but they do, I think, come to a contract agreement to keep him in Atlanta, right? Because the team is just going to be that good. Trae Young is just that good. And I'm tired of people forgetting that the narrative in the offseason was this team is finally built for Trae Young to succeed. It wasn't for other people. It was for Trae Young to succeed. Thank you. As always, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy with a microphone and an opinion. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace out.